last time I said the date, it didn't like include it in my live, so I don't know if maybe I started it later or it just cut off and I didn't have it included. So yeah, anyway, that's what I said twice.
Anthony Kosh. I've never met this guy, but boy, everybody, if you want to watch a guy, like he was part of the group that doctored the video to get me booted out of the party, and it was his idea, and he and Angelo with this group, I don't know what they're doing this with me. They've got so many bigger problems to deal with right now, like in their own party and stuff, and they're so worried about Dallas Brody, a lone MLA, and like over here, I'm actually just, there's been a recall campaign against me, I lifted not even a finger to deal with it, and it's failing miserably. We're going to find out the numbers.
They're currently begging for money in their emails because they've overspent.
Yeah, no, what are you so worried about? This is a city hall meeting. Why don't you come in and speak at it, Angelo? All these people like, why don't you come and speak at City Hall, Mark Marison? Why don't you come, Angelo, and defend the plan? Just do that.
In fact, it would not be a very good look, though, for them to show up and be seen supporting the position of communist counselor Sean Orr, because that's the type of person who supports this entire, this effectively this reworking of the city of Vancouver into this villages system. And on screen, you can sort of see the boundaries they're kind of setting up for like very large sections of the city, like multiple blocks, all in a line. Some of them, like as you can see up there with McDonald Street to King Edwards, Mackenzie, and Mackenzie Street to 450, was it 41st Avenue? It's just a map block, just blocks all together. It's not even isolated. They're all jammed together. And we're going to rework entirely, massively overdensified these areas. You and I are not opponents of density. There are areas where density makes sense.
MTB Madness, MTB FR Life. Hello, how are you?
Naturally move out and a house gets torn down that after it gets sold, and then maybe turns into a 3 or 4 story block with some shopping on the bottom. Fine, but this is not what's going on. So maybe Dallas, you had a really good breakdown from a group showing what the problems are. But I guess maybe what would you say is the fairest steel man pitch for what the Villages project is? Like, what's the best interpretation from their side of what this is supposed to be?
That what they're saying is that they believe that this, from the other side, believe this will bring, I think, affordable housing to, like, I'm talking about my riding, to the west side of Vancouver, and I guess other sides of Vancouver. About 5 of these villages are planned in my riding, so it's hitting my riding.
Not too bad. I'm glad to be eating. I was pretty hungry.
Somehow, I think this is what they think. I don't know what's in their heads.
Marineth Gumaras, H3V. Hello, welcome. How are you doing?
Or something like that. And I think that's what this is coming at. But it's so not going to work that way, because we already have had a massive overdevelopment in the whole west side of Vancouver right now. Let me just describe a few of the massive problems that are going to be coming on stream already. We have a development that was done by, it's called Sinakwe, which is at the south end of the Burrard Street Bridge, that is supposed to be bringing on a total of close to, I believe it's 7,000 units ultimately, which would have approximately, let's say, 2 people living each unit, 14,000 new people moving into a neighborhood that already has approximately 14,000 maximum people living there. That thing isn't even done yet. and they're going to be having issues in that because right now we actually have an oversupply of rental housing coming on stream in Vancouver. Everywhere I drive.
Federal and provincial bailout to deal with that particular issue. Not that we support the bailout, but you know.
But yeah, let's come back to that. So first of all, we have an oversupply of rental housing coming on stream. On all of these new buildings, there are these huge signs saying rent now, and they keep getting better, pet friendly. They're offering incentives for people to move in, and they're not renting. And the pro forma prices they were seeking, they're not going to get because there's now an oversupply, and of course, supply and demand curve, the price is going to be driven down. So this is what's happening. We're seeing it, and there's still yet more being built. So I don't know how all this is going to be absorbed into the rental market. Taking into account we've had a net outward migration from British Columbia over the last 2 years. It's close to 200,000 people leaving. Okay,
I'm eating 5 mashed potatoes, 5 soft-boiled eggs, extra virgin olive oil, black pepper, nutritional yeast, psyllium husk, chili powder, paprika, chili powder, paprika, cayenne, chili powder, paprika, cayenne, and turmeric. The stats boo. I'm watching Dallas Brody. She's an independent in the British Columbia legislature. And they don't want an independent person there because then if everyone's independent, then they're there for the people. Because truly, if you have the BC legislature, if they have parties in there, then they're serving their party policies first and the people second. So, I mean, yeah, they're kind of giving her a hard time because she has like her own views. It's called 1BCHQ. Oh, thanks for the like.
This is social engineering part from the part for leftists on council. I think that it's like whenever you see when they added drugs somewhere. So often they added in nice part of town where they hate people. They put it next to the wall center because the NDP resents the wall so much that they're going to do injection site right next to their hotel. And now they really hate that West Vancouver is the last area of the Vancouver Club, although it could change in the rest of the city, that elects people like Dallas Brody. So screw Dallas Brody, we need to basically move in a bunch of people in affordable housing units in kind of small apartments, which very much changes your voting behavior. It does. You very much are more pro-government intervention when you live in a small apartment next to a noisy neighbor, and you think, well, we'll screw the whole concept of freedom of speech and property. This guy's still been banging on my wall, and I think that is very much something they want to do. They want everyone to live in small boxes around the city and be able to create zones of political control, rather than actually just letting each part of the city evolve as it wants to slowly over time. That's right. I would like to see Angelo sit down with the voters who supported the Conservative Party getting elected, the people who elected me when I ran with the Conservative Party. I can't believe he's actually saying this. It's like, what happened to you? When did you become, and to call me, and then, I know I'm coming back to this, but addicted to Facebook. I've never even looked at Facebook in my life. I've never known how to get on. I've never been on it. I've never used it. I'm not addicted to anything. Is he telling me that the people in my riding who were at the city hall the other night, some of them actually almost in tears, who say they can't sleep anymore because their home is now in this frozen category, which we'll come back to. He'd like to tell them, what would you say to them, Angelo? Apparently you're all a bunch of Facebook boomers. By the way, if you're addicted to social media and Facebook, you don't tend to be the type of person who shows up in person to speak out about an issue in detail. This is something that is crossing political boundaries. It's not just like a pile of conservatives up at the microphone to give their comment at a public meeting. It is tons and tons of people from probably the right side of the political spectrum and the left side of the political spectrum, because home ownership really does change the way that you see city planning. You're not cool with having your area rezoned.
Bye, MTB. Thanks for joining. Have a good day.
Hamptons and told them they're going to start putting in strip malls and high rises out in the Hamptons, suddenly it would never happen. And
in Staten Island, which is still in the city, those people are always ticked off with how much the city keeps trying to relocate hyper-dense affordable housing units in their area, and they're like, we're Staten Island for a reason. We live here because we don't want that inner city nonsense here.
Yeah, and so let's actually go through some of the problems with this. I want to go through them because there are 5 major points about what's going on with this, and we can come back later and have some more fun with Conservatives. And it's interesting. I wonder if any other MLA has showed up to speak for their riding, if they would have been attacked. I think it's just a very personal thing. I think Angelo and Anthony Koch, and the other Adam Beattie, who goes by the nom de plume Blue Skies.
Robin Price. Well, he's apparently a very, very famous, very, very successful influencer because he wrote an article the other day where he was like denouncing purity testing in the Conservative Party, which feels like that's what he's doing to you, is trying to purity test you or something like that. At the same time, he's just completely wrong on the subject matter. He's trying to make sense of.
Like, they really lose sleep over me. Why don't you guys just focus on the bigger picture? Like, it's really about, we just don't like Dallas. It's like, okay, whatever.
Well, they lost the leadership election, so now they have, they need to find some sort of hobby to fill their time with. It's either between attacking you or attacking Pierre Poilievre federally. It's the 2 hobby boards that they now have.
This group is the group that was working on Caroline Elliott's campaign, no?
Yeah, and also, except Angela, who's the executive director, he's in a supposedly neutral political position, but the rest of these guys, minus, of course, Mark Harrison, we're all on Caroline Elliott's crew, and I'll say Anthony Koch, Adam Beattie. If I go through the
Louis Trade 2464. Not really.
I'm going to give a slight compliment to Jeff Longo. He realized after Caroline lost, he should probably shut up and not show.
I remember recently, not able to say a name very well.
Had $2 million raised up against other campaigns that had low hundreds of thousands of dollars. Lost that campaign, guys. I can't.
So I guess it's like
something you're wrong about.
Lois.
Lewis? Yeah,
Lois?
Lois?
Loisel Trade?
Media guy,
Lois.
He spent $2 billion and never got elected. So money doesn't always win elections.
All Trade? Yeah, I think Lois All Trade might make more sense. How do you say your name?
I actually love her writing, and the work she's doing is incredible. And I think she's worked really hard. It was a very close race, hard fought, and someone had to win. And
she should take her hand and take on people like Corey Tonight and Nick Vallis and other guys. I think she should have tried to get down to earth as possible. I am a serious academic with seriously thinking about these issues and the solutions. That would have been a good pitch, but it became, hey, I'm Caroline Elliott, and I have all of these political killers with me, and we're going to take over the province. And it's like that immediately gets grassroots conservatives backs up the wall, especially when you're partnering with people like Vallis and Tonight, who are Doug Ford guys who are not conservative at all. If you think those guys are the people who are going to achieve a victory in BC, you wonder what your government's even going to look like if you got into office with Premier Caroline Elliott. Is this going to be Doug Ford 2.0, where you run being conservative and then you do the exact opposite like Ford did, which Tonight and Vallis have been absolutely happy with?
Well, I'm a conservative through and through, and the position I'm taking at City Hall is basically I'm robustly defending their property rights. And what we're seeing more and more with this Bigfoot approach to local government is that private property rights and the basis upon which people purchase their properties where they live is being
banana and peanut butter, like back when I was having only banana and peanut butter on its own, kind of thing, like long time ago.
My investment will be safe because this is why people trust it. I'm going to move into this neighborhood. This is what I'm buying into. I won't be stuck with some monolithic building next door to me next week, or a gas station going in next door, or you want to have maybe a street where there's bungalows, or you moved into a street where there are duplexes. Something. I think that this is, and so what's happening now is because of the provincial government passing laws that say there will no longer be any single-family housing.
Yanan 67
This next step
847.
This is so drastic and so aggressive against people living in these
Now
neighborhoods
what?
that it's actually finally woken up my sleepy neighborhood, where I've been trying to wake people up for a long time, but what's happening slowly but surely, this one is now finally, it's awoken the sleeping giant in my writing. They are awake, they can't believe what they're hearing. And so I'm actually, this has now been a step too far. And one thing I wanted to say that came out of the public hearing the other night, and I want to thank Sean Orr for bringing this up because he said the quiet part out loud, and so did the bike activist Luki Mahoney. He was there and basically...
I'm eating... Oh, it's so good. Oh yeah, apple cider vinegar is in here too. So it's 5 mashed potatoes, 5 mashed soft boiled eggs, psyllium husk, nutritional yeast, chili powder, cayenne pepper,
I was going to say, because I live in Calgary, I've experienced the same thing, and it effectively got
turmeric.
finally the voters.
I said chili. Wait, chili, turmeric, chili, turmeric, cayenne, chili, turmeric, cayenne, chili, turmeric, cayenne, paprika.
I will give you X amount of dollars for you guys to increase housing.
There's what, extra virgin olive oil in here, cracked black pepper, oh. I'm just going to deal with my writing. In my writing, they started saying that a lot that had one house on it before could now have 6 units on it, 4 to 6 units, and the city required that there be no on-site parking. Part of the deal of getting the right to build 6 units was that you could not put on-site parking on it. Think about that. Okay, and then they thought, well, this will be affordable housing, but that's not what happened. And I know this because I have a friend who's living in one, and she's renting in one of these 6-plexes, and I looked at them too because I was looking to rent. And the first question I asked, these units were built, and they didn't sell. Why? Because they were already asking in the high 1 million, like 1.7 or 2 million for each unit. So these were not inexpensive units; they were very expensive. No parking. Well, your wish is to gift me?
Probably have a car.
To gift me?
And a couple
That's
of
a nice
they're going to have 2
thing.
cars. One car or whatever, but they're also going to need storage.
You can go to my description and go to my buy me a coffee.
What happens? And so these units,
there's a link there.
And so now all of them are being rented.
If you really want to.
One of the development. And I know this for a fact. And it is a beautiful little development, but there's no parking. Units are cute, no question. But they didn't sell. And all of this idea for the really slowed down the movement towards doing these because they weren't marketable. As much as the city of Vancouver is aggressively trying to force people out of their cars, which I understand, it's good for people to walk, I get that. But Vancouver is not a city that can exist without cars. It rains 9 months of the year. People who need to go do their grocery shopping, it's not like Toronto. Like I lived there without a car for years. I lived in New York for a while. I didn't need a car. Here, it's really hard to get things done. We're not there yet. And so this whole issue of parking is becoming a nightmare for the people who are stuck living next door to these developments. Why? Because they still have 2 cars per unit, and now they're parking all over the streets. And the problem is, like, you can live without a car in Yaletown. Like, you can, but they're building basically areas where they want hyperdense blocks in areas where you have no car, and you get to figure out how to bridge the 50 block gap to get to your workplace.
Yay! Dinner accomplished.
Where you can get on subway and be where you need to be in like 20 minutes or less across the city.
Okay.
Maybe one day.
Well,
maybe you can be a little more like Toronto.
I don't know what else I should do for content.
And the thing is, what you do is you have
I guess, what am I going to do with my life? Basically, I'm just kind of like doing stuff and live streaming it. So, I don't know. I have that makeup. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I am doing a live stream, like a sleep stream tonight. So, yeah, if you're bored and hanging out, want to have your comments out and about, you can come check that out. What else is there going on? I guess that's everything. Close this little and the poll.
So this is a letter that was called a letter to Vancouver. Why Vancouver must rethink the village's plan. We can post it on our website. On this, it's really worth reading. But and it's a group of Metro Vancouver urbanists, planners, architects, and UBC SFU academics with decades of experience, and some with development backgrounds who have come together through a group called HousingReset.ca to seek enduring housing solutions. So they identify 5 major problems with this plan. The first is that existing neighborhood centers are the best place for local shopping areas, not new commercial in villages that would compete with them. Now, there are long-established shopping areas in my riding area and across.
Well, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, especially. Thank you for commenting because it gives me something to work with. So, yeah, thank you for joining, and I'll see your comments in the next stream. Thank you for joining. Bye.